Good evening. I would like to welcome all of you this evening and also Channel 45. And it's our pleasure to kick this off. We're not always dressed this way, especially I think this should say Vintage, since I'm principal at Vintage instead of Napa. But to go a little further with this, our project really was County Unity. And so this is Class 8's presentation of County Unity and what we've been doing to assist with a problem. And our problem really at hand, something we all had interest in, was recreation, and that's bicycling. So we would like to have an intertwining route from American Canyon clear to Calistoga and back. I'd like to introduce the members we have up here. Members that we have Bill Emlin over here. He's city planner for American Canyon, so it's most fitting, his little title here. We have Joan Bennett, who's standing next to him. She's an administrator for California Conservation Corps. Joan? Ms. Grape that we have here is actually the Crusher Grape, but Ms. Grape is Andy Knowlton, and she's administrator for the infant and pre-infant special education program, Napa County Office of Education. Annie Manuzzo, over here on my right, is the owner of Biscotti Nucci. She's our Biscotti cookie lady. She kept us happy at all of our meetings. And myself, I'm Stan Smart. As I mentioned, I'm principal at Vintage High School. Okay, I'd like to, we're trying to keep this moving so we don't run out of time. I'd like to mention a little bit what we're going to do up here so you have some idea. We're going to first discuss a logo that our committee came together with, and we have a vision that goes with the logo, and we'll mention the vision a little later in the program. Following that, then Bill Emlin and Andy Knowlton will discuss the problem-solving process and also the leadership skills that were used by the committee. And then Joan Bennett will share a rather entertaining video, slide video at that, beginning at American Canyon, biking to Calistoga. And following that, then we'll discuss a prototype brochure that we have to promote the idea of bike trails from American Canyon to Calistoga. A little further, we'll actually show you on the map where we propose to have a bike trail and why. And then also we'll talk a little bit about next steps, what we should do to promote this program, and hopefully there'll be enough time for questions and answers. So with that, Annie, if you'd like to speak to the logo, a nice one that's been designed.
Actually, we just came to the conclusion that we needed a visual symbol. We needed a visual symbol that sort of represented our concept. And since there were 5 of us, and there are 5 cities incorporated in Napa County, we decided that we needed a 5-part symbol. And it coincidentally happens to become somewhat of a star when it's finished. And it's pretty simple. The rainbow colors that are on the wheels represent the idea that we're all part of the same community, sort of a rainbow coalition, if you will, Napa Valley style. And that's pretty simple, you know, the spokes of the wheel, and the symbol we think speaks for itself at this point, and I hope that you agree.
Okay, as we got into this, and it took us a few months to actually get to where we had a defined vision, we had the topic of countywide unity and interlocal cooperation, and we were having a hard time pinpointing exactly what we wanted to do. We did review a study that was done by UC Davis on Napa County, and it talked a lot about sharing of resources among governmental agencies and things of that nature. And after going through that, we sort of became convinced that we wanted to steer away from something that's strictly related to government. There was something about the bureaucracy that we sort of wanted to look at something a little different. And that sort of led us to looking at something that was positive in nature, and perhaps something that was fun, and something that could have a recreational component to it. And in our discussions, we talked about what the possibilities were out in Napa Valley, and looked at some other areas. The American River Parkway in Sacramento area, and up in Redding there's a nice bike trail. And as we discussed it, we felt that there certainly was a great opportunity in the Napa Valley to deal with a trail system. You have unparalleled climate in this area. It's pretty hard to beat the scenery in the Napa Valley. Currently, the opportunities for bicycling are somewhat limited, at least for individuals who are less oriented for biking. I think hardcore bicyclists, you know, they're going to ride anywhere. You know, the traffic doesn't bother them. But people with families and such that want to get out and ride, it's a little more difficult. There are a few areas on road that you can ride in the valley, but that's about the extent of it. The Congestion Management Agency in Napa County are currently working on a bike lane program between Napa and Calistoga, which is certainly going to make the Silverado Trail a more appealing corridor for biking once they get those lanes installed. But even at that, we felt, and at one point we thought, well, maybe we might not want to pursue this because there was some things happening, but we didn't feel it was going far enough, and that's why we decided to pursue the route that we have. And I wanted to talk briefly about the things that we looked at in terms of possible benefits. Obviously, to experience the wineries of the valley, you have to use an automobile. I think it's difficult, except for the wine train, and I don't think that's all that popular at times. And so we felt that there was definitely a positive benefit to the valley to have this option, and there's certainly no reason that it can't happen. There are constraints. Obviously, there's a lot of property owners involved, and we may not be able to have a continuous route. And in fact, there may be areas where we're going to have to loop back to the Silverado Trail area. But, okay. Sorry, I'm just getting started, too. So I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and turn it over to Andy and let her talk a little bit more about our group dynamics, because that's certainly been one of the fun parts of this.
All right, I got elected to talk about group dynamics, and this is really from all of us. We met and we talked about our group dynamics, which certainly with all your groups also, you know, was probably very unique with that. And what I'm going to do is just talk about the different leadership principles that we all know we reflected on each month with our evaluations, such as challenging the process with that. I think as Bill talked about, that it was very challenging for everyone to get to an idea. This actually took several months until February. And then I think we really came to the idea of the bike trail. Frustration was really finding a topic that all felt was reflective of the assigned topic and everyone had an interest in. And thirdly, we did get some innovative ideas from the television programs such as Oprah. We came in with ideas from the Museum of Art. We would go and see an idea and come back and someone talked about that. And then talking to others within the community. So that was something about challenging the process. And also about what we decided to wear tonight and the fact that I was wearing the grape costume. Still pretty amazes me, but I did it and I survived, so. The number two, talking about sharing an inspired vision, as really, we got to know each other better, and that was mainly through food and wine. We found out that the meetings at night were much more productive for us, and that our communication became much more effective and started to flow. You know, after a couple bottles of wine, we had some pretty good ideas going. One thing that was unique about our group from the very beginning is that we all were able to express our feelings very freely. People expressed frustration when people couldn't attend. There was anxiety for people over coming up with a finished product, and really the sharing of our personal lives and the support we felt from that. And also, we really demonstrated more commitment towards our vision in February when we started to look at the calendar. In terms of enabling others to act, we really kept each other's informed through minutes, and then also we came up with a telephone tree that was really effective when we needed to cancel meetings. We really had a commitment to have meetings when everyone could attend, and again, this was the past couple months, but there was really a strong commitment, and we would change our calendars so that everyone can attend. We started to really delegate tasks, and I think those tasks that were delegated were based on people's interests and also their strengths with that. And people really came and were not pushing their own personal agenda. From the beginning, we were really able to work together as a group. In terms of modeling the way, one I found challenge was the group really struggled with following through on our meeting agendas. Like we would set an agenda for a meeting for our next meeting, and to follow through on what we agreed upon we talk about was pretty difficult at times. Our choices of involvement, again, in task assignment and utilizing each other's strengths. And I think the most important part for this group was really the ways that we found to encourage the heart, that we really had fun throughout the process. And as you'll see in our videotape, a lot of people had fun putting that together, and that the group really became a network of support for both our professional lives and our personal lives. And I think that's what we really gained from it.
We started out at the City of American Canyon parking lot. That's our city hall there. We were sorry that we didn't have Annie with us that day. She was very sick and had strep throat and was nice enough not to give it to us, but we missed her. We started out and got on the road and went out down one of the bike paths out of City Hall that leads sort of to the wetlands to the west. Throughout the pictures, you'll see that some of us had to be in the pictures and somebody else had to take them. And we had started after a while. I got a little tired. They're all bike enthusiasts, and I haven't ridden for a long time. So I got a little encouragement there from Stan. We really were together. Actually, Stan really didn't want to go bike riding that day, but we forced him into it. He just wanted to do the bikes. He just wanted to bring the bikes and do the pictures. But nah. We made him ride. What you see here on the right side corner is Donaldson Way School, and one of my neighbors was coming from the school, and we stopped to talk to her, and that's one of the nice things about biking in American Canyon is it's real casual, and you do meet a lot of people you know along the way. There is one big hill in American Canyon. We kind of used to call it Cookie Hill, but now there's some development up there, and we rode up, and if you can see in the back is all the wetland area after the green. Now, what do you think he's standing in? I can tell you. We decided it was dirt. He wanted that picture. This is from that same view. It's the American Canyons wetland, and some people ride out there already. We'd really like to have a nice bike route along the wetlands area. And yeah, that's Mount Tam in the back. And yes, Virginia, American Canyon does have vineyards. And there they are, right over. That's from the top, just a couple of blocks down from the other side. So now we're looking east instead of west, and that's the Jaeger Vineyards. This is a sweeping view of the Green Island Road area, and you can ride all down Green Island Road and further out into the wetlands if you want to go that way. This is another sweeping view. This is to the south, and this is pretty much the City of American Canyon from the top of the hill. What you don't see there is what's across the highway, which is mostly our mobile home parks. This is the end of Green Island Road. You can ride all the way out there, and on the right-hand side there, you see Edgerly Island. If any of you have always wondered where that was, it's out at the end of Green Island Road, and that's part of our wetlands area. It's a river. Now we moved into Napa. This is a bicycle trail in Napa. We know that because the sign up there said so. Unfortunately, you can't read it. This is supposed to say a river ravaged through it, but somehow, I don't know what happened. It's also in Napa. This is the 3rd Street crossing. Actually, we didn't get too many pictures in Napa because the day that we went to ride, we went from American Canyon to Yountville, in Yountville we started at Vintage 1870. We were going to come back to Napa, but we got rained on, so we had to do some other pictures. We were tired. At this point, we'd ridden probably about 6 miles in Yountville. We decided to eat, but we didn't eat or sleep here. This is, I think, the Magnolia House, and it's probably out of most of our range, but we liked the house anyway. Andy lives in Yountville, and she particularly liked this spot. Yountville, we're heading out now into the vineyard areas of Yountville. It's really a beautiful ride. If anybody is a bicycle enthusiast and really wants a really nice, easy ride, even I could do it. Pulling up the rear as I was most of the time, I could still do it. Stan liked history, so isn't this a great picture of Stan? We just love this picture of Stan. And she did it through the grapevine, and it was private property, and she didn't care. And Bill was a little hesitant, but he decided that he was going to follow her. This was another place. It's an interesting barn kind of thing, and all the sides are made out of poles, and that's why we call it a polling place, and that was a focus of one of our rides, one of the places we stopped. This sculpture, nature sculpture, is this tree that Stan fell in love with, and he said, "Oh, take my picture by the tree." Anybody want to discuss this? Oh, this was an interesting sight. Llamas in Yountville? Yes, indeed, there were llamas in Yountville, and we decided to just take a closer look. This is a possible link between Yountville and Napa. It's actually a river levee there, and we thought that those are the kinds of things where we'd like to be able to ride bicycles, at the kinds of places, and so we wanted to show that to you. This is Silverado Trail. I mean, we rode a long ways that day. Oh, now we're in St. Helena, busy St. Helena. What we kept saying to each other is, these people are missing so much in these cars. Wouldn't it be nice if they were on bikes? And we rode a lot around the city of St. Helena, looking at some of the really beautiful sights there. Quaint neighborhoods, lots of flowers, lots of nice little bike paths like that, not much traffic, easy, not hilly. It was really a very pleasurable ride. We didn't know what we should say about the church, but we decided we need a little help, so we go to a higher power. Stan absolutely fell in love with this house. It was his dream house, so we took his picture there. And then Bill decided that he liked this one, so we took his picture there. Beautiful homes in St. Helena. Then we decided we needed some refueling, so we went to, it says Mode, but I think it's supposed to be Model Bakery, and Stan risks his life getting across the traffic to the other side of the street to take this picture, so we appreciate that. This is a hole in the wall game. Does it look like we're in the building? We really had a lot of fun in St. Helena and Yountville. It was just a fun day. There are so many beautiful things to see in all of the cities that we were in, but somebody who has not seen these magnificent buildings and beautiful places, if they've only gone by them in cars, they just really don't know what they're missing by not getting out and walking or riding a bike or doing something that slows you down to smell the flowers and look at the beautiful things that we have. So what was that? I guess that was the Christian Brothers Winery. Yeah. And now we're in Calistoga. Again, we were rained on. We couldn't really get to Calistoga and ride our bikes, but we had to go back and take pictures, so we don't have too many people on bikes. That was, this shot, you know, Calistoga is just a made-for-movies downtown. I mean, it's a great place. Very interesting town, lots of nice shops. Here's Palisades Hills in the back of the town. It's really, I mean, that's another town you could just ride all over. Wouldn't be a hard ride, but be a very interesting ride. Of course, this is the infamous geyser, Old Faithful. We felt like we should show that for Calistoga since it's, you know, the place that everybody wants to see. This was a beautiful little place. Just stop on a bike and get out and go look there. We called it a biker's hideout. We thought it was just a really beautiful, beautiful place. And this is the end. Believe it or not, this was in St. Helena, and they were wanting to give this away free, and we just couldn't keep Andy out of there. She insisted that she had to rest. And we hope you've enjoyed this video.
Yeah, this will be real quick. I know we're running out of time. And basically, this is a very simplified model of what we're talking about. And I think what I'll briefly mention is I think there's certain areas where this vision is more likely to happen than others in the foreseeable future. We definitely feel that this area between Vallejo by American Canyon and up through Napa is a feasible route along the river's edge. Between Napa and Yountville, we think there are areas where it can happen. There is existing improved properties in this area that may preclude a totally being along the river. But once again, we think there are areas of crossing roads that we can go over to the Silverado Trail and cross back over. And then obviously as you get up further, it's going to be a challenge. You know, as we went out and really surveyed it, there's going to be certain areas where we think it's more possible than others. But I think the concept, and if you've been to other communities that have this kind of system, it greatly enhances the communities and makes for a better quality of life. And I think that's what we're all here for. And for us, it was an easy vision to embrace, given that long-term commitment. So back over to Stan.
Okay, very briefly, I'd like to speak to you. This is sort of a prototype. Obviously, this isn't ready to be printed and passed out, but just to look at. We came up with a couple titles, as you're aware of, so we had a little fun with this, A Valley Intertwined, and also I Did It Through the Grapevines. And the logo that we mentioned to you earlier, there were 5 of us, and there were 5 communities, and we have 5 spoked wheels there. Our vision was, at the bottom, citizens of Napa County have a healthy respect for each other and for their contributions to the well-being of all people living in and visiting the county. If you'll flip the page, we have our mission statement, and I think it's a rather good one. The County Unity Committee of Leadership Napa Valley supports the concepts of connecting bike routes between American Canyon to the south with Calistoga to the north. The bike routes will create a sense of county unity through the social interaction, promote a healthy lifestyle and recreational opportunities. Thirdly, will provide friendly and environmentally safe alternative transportation. And as you remember in the slide, there are much too many cars that are on the road. Showcase the Napa Valley environment and all its splendor, and promote the Napa Valley businesses. Splendor was a fun topic to speak to. Then introduction here really is, as I mentioned, this is a little bit of a vehicle towards bringing about these changes, let's say in the next 18 years. That the brochure is being provided for people that would like to take a more active part. We indicate who they can contact in order to bring about some of these changes. And then in our little folder here, we indicate each of the towns with a little map and some points of interest underneath, and on the back side, the last 2 communities, and then we list some bicycle shops. And obviously we would probably go to these bicycle shop owners and ask if they would like to be printed in this and maybe help fund some of the printing costs. Some recognitions on the bottom. So this is a prototype of something that could be refined a little further to be used to help promote bicycle trails and recreation within the county. Now, Joan, would you like to make some final comments here?
Obviously, this isn't a bike trail from American Canyon to Calistoga. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, and probably not for some years. I mean, because there's a lot of things that have to happen. But we decided that we would give you some idea of what could be done, what follow-up actions are needed, and what people could do. One is to evaluate funding options for right-of-way acquisition. For instance, multiple county jurisdictions could do that, and maybe develop some land trusts for the land. Begin more detailed evaluation of potential routes. Each city and county could do this. Gain advertising support for printing and distribution of logos, maps, and for future fundraising. This could be done by the Congestion Management Association agency. That's my mistake, I said association, it's supposed to be agency. Bicycle committee of citizen or civic groups. And then more clearly articulate vision to the Napa Valley community and its governments. This could be done best by local bicycle and trail enthusiasts. Develop strategies for gaining property owner involvement. Government and citizen action groups could initiate this. And begin building a coalition between governmental entities and citizen advocacy groups. Advocacy could begin by citizens and government seeking and issuing resolutions that show commitment to the vision. And so we're passing out to you both these points of things that are follow-up actions, and also a sample resolution for those people who would be willing to go to their governmental agencies and ask for support for this. So all of us up here, thank you very much for your attention. We've had a really great time doing this, and we hope that this is something that will happen in the Valley for all of us and all of our children, and probably their children. Thank you.